So
Do you dabble with Magic at all?
Sorry,
I played Magic for a long time, long time, and I had to stop. Like I haven't really played it in probably like 15 years. I did dabble in Arena a bit, and then I dropped like $200 one day, and I was like, "How did I get here again? How did I get here again?
How did this happen?"
Again, I'm like, man, this time they're not even real cards. So I was like, I thought they did an amazing job with Arena. That's kind of like the game I wanted. That's the online Magic I wanted for a while.
Yeah,
they did such a good job with that.
Did you have a color that you lean towards with a deck?
Oh, I go through phases. You know, sometimes I like making the white purity decks, and I was like, those are nice. And
I have a white angel deck that I like to say is unbeatable, but I've been beaten a few times.
I try not to play a lot of red because it's just so like direct damagey. But I do have one red deck that I called Fast and the Furious. I named all my decks after movies, and I made custom boxes for them.
Yeah,
so at Fast,
I love it.
And it was a bunch of like ball lightnings and all kinds of things. Just like if your creature came out, I was going to kill it. And I had a bunch of like haste creatures. They'd come out and just roll over you. That was the whole premise of it.
I had Platinum Angel, which my friends hated. I don't know if you're familiar, but it's like, you can't lose the game basically. And the card's indestructible. So like people hated that. Unless you had like a exile, you couldn't do nothing.
Yeah, that's great. Roland's asking how about games with miniatures like Warhammer? Is that something you get into?
So as far as tabletop games, actually a friend of mine, he was Warhammer champion for 2 years in a row back in early 2000s. And he's also a really good miniatures painter. So what's the magazine? Is it White Dwarf? So they used to send him briefcases, like these padded briefcases. He'd paint them and put them in put them in the briefcase, send them. They take photos and they'd send his minis back to him because his minis were so good. He's such a good painter. So they'd feature his minis on the covers and in the magazines all the time. So that was great. He tried to teach me. Now he's a great guy, terrible teacher. So I never got into it because he's a terrible teacher. So I like the tabletop games, but I don't have, my group doesn't play those. So the most I can get my group to play that's like a tabletop miniatures game would be like the board game equivalent, which is kind of like area control dudes on a map type of game where it's Red Rising is one of them, which I really like. It's you pick your clan, you play with your clan, and it's the equivalent of how I mentioned deck building game is like Magic, but you don't have to buy everything. Everything's in the box. Yeah, that's kind of what these games are. You don't have to buy the individual characters; they're all in the box. But throughout the game, you like do things to earn them to get them out, and you sacrifice things to get them out. So it's a little more strategic based on who you get out. You earn points to buy these monsters. You put them on the table. So, but the closest to that I've gotten, as far as my friends that let me play tabletop games, was it was an X-Wing. That was the closest I got to that, because I had one friend that played X-Wing and he got a bunch of people at the office, and I was like, I'm in, because I don't have any groups to play Warhammer, and I have a thing about playing with like going out to play with strangers, at things, and like I feel uncomfortable. I like with you, even talking with guys a little bit, like if you guys, hey, come over and play, I'd feel more comfortable already now because I talked to you guys for a little bit, but that initial barrier to entry it makes me anxious. I get anxiety, so I don't just go to the local places. I can't. I admire people that can do that, but I can't do it. I need to be in my comfort zone.
For sure.
Well, that, and you don't know like how people react to things. Like, you could get a guy that, like, if he loses, he's flipping the table over.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid to be the one flipping the table and pissing everybody off. But my Magic games with my friends, like me and Rick and my buddy Jay, we used to play all the time Tuesday nights, and it was fucking heated. Man, we get heated, but we were so into it because we were just like investing all this money into these dope cards. And like I got into a routine where I figured out on eBay, if you're looking for like a key card that's very expensive on its own, you could buy it cheaper per card in a 4-pack. So what I was doing is I was buying the 4-pack of this key card, reselling 3 and keeping 1. You know what I mean? And I got into like this routine, and it was just like me, the post office, eBay. We were in this like torrid relationship. Magic.
I'm a poker player. I don't know.
eBay was a big thing for me too.
What's that, Mark?
eBay was a big thing for me too for when it came to Magic, but I did it a little differently. I'd look for
What'd you do?
I look for all the cards that have ridiculous low bids, like 5 cents. And I was like, I'm putting bids on everything. All these rares that are like 5 cents, like, and I won a few of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, you actually sent them to me?
Yeah.
For like I got this for a penny.
Yeah,
that's
wild.
crazy.
We're all
And
just
then you
looking for
paid
that
more in
black orchid at
postage,
a
right?
yard sale somewhere, right?
Yep. I had a black orchid in this house.
No way, really?
I was selling it for somebody else.
Damn. Did you end up selling it or?
Yeah, I did. I can't remember
What was the
it sold.
value?
I honestly can't remember.
Can't say
what it
anything?
sold for. No, I can't remember. It's because I sold a few things for this guy, and he sold things in packages.
Okay.
Like it was like a bunch of things. So it wasn't a black orchid by itself.
Oh,
it was like
bundled.
a bunch of stuff. So I can't remember what the bundles went for. It was, oh my God, it was probably 22, 23 years ago is when I sold that.
Got you. So I actually did something similar with comics. So when the first Spider-Man movie came out, I assembled kind of like a pack of key issues. And so I had the first appearance of the Green Goblin, the death of the Green Goblin, the first appearance of Green Goblin 2, which was Harry, and then the 9/11 issue with the black cover. And I just basically assembled everything together. Then the first issue, the first appearance of Green Goblin was in tough shape. But like, I think I spent maybe like $400 across the 4 books. I ended up going to eBay when the movie hit, because I figured like that's going to be peak time, and I got $900 for it. So it was a pretty good turnaround, you know?
Yeah.
Harry Gerasturgios, artist, designer, co-host of Indie Comics Relay, searching for a way to stay awake during the show, when an accidental overdose of indie comic book knowledge interacts with his uniquely tangential brain. And now, when Harry grows distracted or bored, startling metamorphosis occurs. He can't help but talk about the Incredible Hulk TV show.
Harry somehow brings up the Incredible Hulk TV show almost every stream that we have.
I love that show.
Nowhere sometimes.
For the same reason why I love Frankenstein, because, you know, Hulk didn't ask to be made. You know, this guy, you know, he was in a lab accident, you know, and I feel bad for him, you know, people are trying to kill him. Whatever. Seriously though, if you think about it, how does an adult man get beat up twice an hour every week? Really, I haven't. When's the last time you guys got beaten up?